Yo, 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 I'm out in one of my favorite secret spots in the desert where I get nice and naked and soak up all of this amazing cosmic energy from the sun. It's quite hot out here, but I'm adapting to the heat, feeling more and more in control of my body, my mind, my soul. I do a bit of cold plunge ice baths, one of my favorite things to do. Saunas, also like the heat. I like the elements, you guys, and it helps me cultivate this inner strength, right? Where the external situation that's happening has less and less bearing on what's going on inside of me. The more we can do that, the better. All right. So this video, you guys, is about psychedelics and semen retention. I haven't seen a video on this. I've been following a lot of accounts on semen retention. I'm getting a lot out of it. By the way, shout out to Subconscious and Spirit War Martin, two of my favorite human beings on planet Earth. Really, really grateful for you guys and your presence in my life. So, all right, without further ado, this is a subject I haven't seen talked about a lot. And I'm kind of surprised because it seems like the same type of person that might be attracted to something like semen retention might also be attracted to, something like microdosing psychedelics, plant medicine, all of these things, because these are all things that kind of seem to be trending in the spiritual community right now. So it seems to me like it might go hand in hand. You might want to do some microdosing on your semen retention journey, or you might want to go do an ayahuasca ceremony, something like that. I don't know. So I just want to give you my own personal perspective on that as somebody who has a lot of experience with both of these things. A lot of experience in the world of psychedelia and quasi shamanism, all that kind of new age stuff that goes on, which I don't necessarily have a lot of respect for, although I do respect the ancient traditions, like the Shipibo tribe in the Amazon. I just don't necessarily think it's a good thing for white people to be going there in droves and interacting with that. Thing is that you can achieve such a high level of spiritual awareness. You can increase your consciousness to such incredible degrees without the aid of any of these external substances that, when you really start to experience the reality of that, then these substances start to lose their shine. They're not as interesting anymore. So a lot of my life, those substances were very interesting to me because the effect they produced on me and for me, everybody reacts a little bit differently to these things, but for me, I always felt like it put me more into a spiritual sort of mode. It started making me think more about spiritual things. I was having realizations. It seemed like it was deepening my understanding of reality and myself and so on and so forth. However, I didn't tend to end up in very advantageous situations in my life. So I'd be doing these things quite a bit, too much probably. The thing is I was abusing these things, and I suffered consequences for that. There's a really great analogy I got from a friend a long time ago. I'll share it with you real quick. So he kind of compared, psychedelics versus a spiritual practice, a practice that is consistent, happens over time, versus taking a psychedelic is getting launched up somewhere instead of. So the analogy is imagine, the goal is to ascend Mount Everest. Well, let's say psychedelics are one way. That's like a rocket ship that'll just take you up to the summit and plop you down there, and you get to see the view. Wow, this is amazing. Look how far I can see. Look at all this clarity. But at the same time, you're not going to last very long up there. You might even die because you didn't acclimate to the altitude. You went up there so fast, and so you're going to have to come back down so you can breathe again. It's not sustainable. Whereas a person that slowly ascended that mountain step by step is acclimating to each successive altitude, and by the time they get to the top, they can spend more time there enjoying that vision, that view. So same applies to spirituality, growing our consciousness, right? When we have a practice and we are growing it slowly, we get to acclimate to each successive level. We get to integrate that, and it becomes more permanent. Whereas if you're utilizing a psychedelic, you get this temporary window into it, right? And so you guys, semen retention, very much like psychedelics for me, because but it's happening in a sustainable way over time, and it involves my participation. I don't just get to take something and get the results. I have to abstain from something. I have to be disciplined in so many different areas. And through that discipline, through that obedience, my consciousness is expanding in ways that the psychedelics used to do for me, but better, actually. So some people might ask, well, if I'm already on semen retention, is it okay to microdose psychedelics, or is it okay to do a plant medicine ceremony or something like that? My answer to that would be, well, you've got to go to God, and you've got to go within yourself and ask these questions, because I'm in no position to tell you what is right or wrong on your soul's journey. Some people need to experience these things. Most people don't, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, though. But I do believe these things exist for a reason. And it's really up to you to be honest with yourself. And that is easier said than done, because a lot of us can think we're being honest with ourselves, but we're really lying to ourselves. And that might be because we have some sort of false notion, belief pattern that's really ingrained in us. Maybe we have some sort of demonic interference in our life. The thing is like, if you feel confused about it, it's probably a good idea to abstain, because the adversary, the devil, whatever you want to call it, that is the author of confusion. That is the author of, like, maybe, or I don't know. God is the author of clarity, of yes or no, right? So if deep in your soul, and you've talked to God about this, it's a clear yes, that's definitely okay. Sure, maybe that's okay. But I would suggest that you be as conscious and mindful as you possibly can about it. Notice the way you feel before. Notice the way you feel during. Notice the way you feel after. So we have to apply rigorous honesty to ourselves, you guys, and all the things that we do when we're on this journey, and be very clear. Is this actually serving me? Is this making me a better person? Is this making me a more selfless person, a more compassionate person, a stronger person, a wiser person, a more balanced person? Am I able to respond to difficulty with calmness and peace in my heart? Am I able to receive gifts with gratitude and humility? You know, there's all these different ways to sort of gauge where we're at spiritually. So we've just got to be very honest with ourselves. Is what we're doing contributing to that, or is it detracting? Right? And so, a lot of people in the new age really like to glorify psychedelics. Like, this is just like this magical thing. And yes, they are very powerful, and they do have the ability to facilitate healing in certain ways. However, they come at a risk. And if you are very serious about your purity as a soul, you might want to avoid these things. Or at the very least, if you are going to engage in something like this, you have to apply a very deep sense of reverence, humility, and surrender to God. In this process, you have to have a very strong main consciousness. You have to be very grounded, or else you run the risk of getting thrown off center. And when you're off your center, you are now vulnerable to spiritual attack, right? And we want to avoid that. So that's my 2 cents on psychedelics and SR. Hope that helps somebody. And any questions, comment, like, subscribe, all of that stuff. I really want to grow this channel, not for my own sake, but just to be part of a growing, blossoming community of men who are doing the real work, you guys. I love it. I love this. I love this stuff. I love this path, and I love the people I'm meeting on it. I want to meet more people. Anybody out there that might be struggling with this path, please reach out. I'm so happy to help, man. It fills me up in my soul. I love it. All right. So peace.